It's another week here in GSW. This is Grand Slam Saturday. Big Paulie coming to you with our first of four bouts this week 24. And then on next week's show, you're going to see week 25 and then the pay per view or super card. It's not a pay per view, it's a super card. That will actually serve as week 26. Every 13th week, we do a super card, and that's the only card for the week. But in week 24, we kick things off in the Memphis circuit. The Von Brauners defending their international tag championship against Edge and Christian, who are the only team right now in Memphis. So we had to supplement the card a little bit with indies, and we'll get into that in just a moment. Remember that after this show airs on the Big Paulie's World of Sports Sims this Saturday, we will have the second round of the Monarch of the Mat final stage. That'll begin at 8 or thereabouts, depending on the length of this presentation, which I do not know yet. I do not know yet because it is just Monday. I don't know how the length of the match is and how long they will go. It should be done in an hour, but it's possible we could have to get started at 8:05, 8:10, 8:15, something like that. So let's show you what happened in the Memphis card. We had a stunning revelation at the start of the card. Bob Armstrong had a family emergency. Well, not really. It's a card intangible. He's going to be out 6 months. He's going to be out 24 weeks until we see him again. He'll be a free agent, and any of these circuits, there'll be a random draw to see who will get Bob Armstrong when we get to that point late in year 4. Babyface is in the main event, although it got bloody. Tojo Yamamoto over Hiroshi Tanahashi by pin. Ronnie Etchison, who was in the tag match, which we'll talk about later, filled in against Ed Wiskowski, and Wiskowski wins by pin, even though he was a bloody mess, 24-36. Dick Murdoch got busted open against Sputnik Monroe. Monroe won 351, a leg drop. Then the tag match, Headhunters against Pat O'Connor and Ronnie Etchison. The babyfaces prevail in 27:05, but they do not move to the Indies because they were at 95 in the rankings, and the win gave them 4 points, so they're at 99. You got to get to 100 or above to be picked up by what in this case would have been the Memphis circuit. Jake Roberts brought Jimmy, the Mouth of the South, Hart in for the no DQ bout against Jerry Lawler, and Hart was very ineffective. Lawler wins by pin with a Memphis chain, 10-31 in that no DQ bout. For the women's title, it was Fabio Smula and Mildred Burke again, and this time Burke wins by DQ 17-48 when Mula went nuts on the officiating, or the official, and that brings us to our international tag title main event, the Von Brauners taking on Christian and Edge. Von Brauners playing on house money because even if they lose, they get that world tag title shot against what appears to be right now Jay Youngblood and Ricky Steamboat. That may change as these last couple of weeks before the supercard progress. And of course, you got the Briscoes waiting in the wing. They were supposed to get the title shot against Youngblood and Steamboat, but they did not because Jerry Briscoe had won the international title for a while, held it 2 weeks, and now that is occupied by Big Van Vader. So the Briscoes will be muscling, or maybe they'll just wait for the Okerlund Cup tournament to play itself out. So let's get this match started, our first bout of 4 here on Grand Slam Saturday. The Von Brauners are favored. It is Carl and Kurt Von Brauner against Edge and Christian, who were a very notable tag team in the WWF, then WWE in the 2000s. So let's give you a close-up of the ring as we get started. And it's the champions going for a legal nerve hold, 6 points off. The Von Brauners 3-5-2 despite being champs, and Edge and Christian 2-0-4. Their most recent bout was against the Heavenly Bodies in another heel bout that went to a draw, time limit draw actually. And the Von Brauners just lost to the Road Warriors in Chicago. European uppercuts countered by the Challengers, and the Challengers go for some double teaming, followed up by a ropes move, and that's countered by the champs, the Von Brauners. Illegal punches by the champs, a disqualified check right back for Christian and Edge, which was stopped. Legal leg drop for Christian and Edge. A little too early to get an effective count on that, and we move on, but they get the first pin attempt. The Von Brauner's in trouble again with a pinhold inside cradle, but that does not score. More double teaming by the challengers, who are very capable. I do not believe they have won a championship yet in GSW, but of course in real life they were world tag team champions many a time. Von Brauners, body slam, I think that was Christian there getting that one. And an auto control loss back to the challengers. Eye gouge countered back to the champs. Illegal throw countered. Choking by the challengers. And we're coming up on that 5-minute mark in this bout. A chop by the challengers. A ropes move. And no pin. So they get the first 2 pin attempts in now. And it's the challengers with a 58-point lead in terms of damage. Body slam by the challengers. No pin. Double team attempt by the challengers. So they really have the Von Brauners on the run. Getting good fan reaction here in Memphis, despite the fact that they are heels. Punches, a submission move, Christian and Edge, double teaming. Now, if there is a tag team draft lottery coming up week 26, but what may happen is if there were no tag teams, then Memphis would be allowed to pick any 2 they wanted, or any 2 to debut that they wanted. Von Brauners in trouble again, but again, no pin. So they're racking up the pin attempts here. The Von Brauners have yet to get one. 30 more points off of the Von Brauners total. We're 7:41 into the bout. It doesn't seem that the Von Brauners have done anything, but they just get a Cobra clutch, and you're not going to get a submission. Low submission ratings here. And the Von Brauners do a double team. That's going to tighten the score a little bit, although the Von Brauners now 100 points down at the 8-minute mark of this bout, or just about. Another double team, that's 15 more points off to get it down to 85. And hold on just a moment, I'm going to check to see if it's a spam phone call. Love the spam phone calls right when you're trying to do something. So we'll just play that out. And Weingroff looks very displeased what's going on in the ring. Kick by the Von Brauners, a body slam by Christian and Edge. Von Brauners countered a throat chop, possible. Kick by the challengers. Legal whip to the ropes on a double team attempt. That succeeds. That's 6 more points off the Von Brauners. Leg hold by Christian and Edge. They slow the match down. Choking by the champs. Very low odds of a pin. They don't get it. We're at 10:51, and the lead for the challengers right now, Christian Edge, is now down about 93. So the Von Brauners is starting to make a move. Illegal choking by the champs. Sure, they would just want to get DQ'd and get the hell out of Memphis. Missile drop kick. This could be it. No, a missile drop kick by Edge. But the Von Brauners find a way to get out of it. Punches used by the challengers. And double teaming countered. Arm hold. And that looked like a stamina level hit for Christian and Edge. We're at 12:41. It's a 99-point lead right now for the challengers. It's a play attempt. That does not score. Fan interaction. So yes, the fans backing the challengers. They want to see a title change in Memphis here tonight. Legal punches by the Von Brauners. Double teaming. But halted before it could do any damage. Auto control loss back to the champs. Punches by the Von Brauners. Sieg Heil. And supplé attempt by the Von Brauners also scores. So that's 9 points. So the lead tightening a little bit. Down to 66 points. Punches used by the Von Brauners. A supplé attempt by the Von Brauners. Ka-chunk! And that's 9 more points off of their total. We are at 15:57. And now the lead down to 45 points. I don't think we've gotten to the level of the recent playoff game between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Atlanta Hawks yet, but we're getting close. Kick by the Von Brauners. A double team attempt, so the lead tightening with every move now. Von Brauners lose control. Back to Christian and Edge. They score a double team. 15 more points, and another, same total, 15. Illegal punches by the challengers, 5 points. An auto control loss, no action. Body slam over the knee, and we had all kinds of bedlam on that pin attempt, and Christian and Edge are going to be DQ'd for outside. I think it was Dick Murdoch. Love of his country getting a little too much. He winds up interfering, and that's going to cost Christian and Edge the championship here. So the Von Brauners are going to win by DQ to retain their championship. And that will be 2 points to them on the rankings. Time of the fall, 18:06. Dick Murdoch interferes. And Edge and Christian just walk away from him. They're like, who needs you, buddy? We didn't ask for you to come. But Murdoch, being a patriot, he just couldn't stop himself from going after those Von Brauners. So that's 247 off of the champs, 198 off of the challengers. And unlike the first 5 matches we had in this card tonight in Memphis, no blood. And it got 2.5 stars. And with that, we're going to move on now to the now merged territory of Houston and Dallas. Now we just call it Texas. Bout number 2 this week on Grand Slam Saturday takes us to the new Texas circuit, which is actually a merger of Houston and Dallas. And what a load of talent that this Texas circuit has, as you will see as we go through the card summary. Tonight, Jackie Pallo defends his World Junior Heavyweight title, Mr. TV, against Danny Hodge. A lot of people think Hodge is going to wind up being the next World Junior Heavyweight champion out of this. We will see what we will see. Week 24 here in Year 4 in GSW. We are now in the Texas circuit, so we're halfway home this week. Don't forget, right after this broadcast, we're going to have the second round of the Monarch of the Mat. But you heard me promote this in the first match for sure. We'll have all 8 second round matches. We'll get down to a final 8, and we'll have that super card in the following week, July 3rd. We're going to do this on the eve of the 4th of July. And we're probably going to do it at 8 o'clock. We're going to do it at 8 o'clock. So this week and next week, we got Saturday night specials for you as we come to the climax of the Monarch of the Mat tournament. Red Bastien kicked off the card, winning against Johnny Barron. Submission, figure 4, 2019 in the bout. Terry Funk easily over Gory Guerrero. Guerrero got a pin on Funk. Funk came right back, got the 3 count on Gory. Dick Hutton and Carla Coriani had an unusual bout. It went to a draw, but they only competed for 14 minutes and 45 seconds. Why? The ring collapsed. So they spent some time getting the ring fixed, and it has been working ever fine since. Fine ever since. The Road Warriors and the Midnight Express. It was the Roadies putting a whooping on the Midnights, 23 minutes. Animal mercifully ends the fray, pinning Bobby Eaton with a body slam. Kerry Von Erich and Bruiser Brody. Oh, Kerry was a bloody mess after this one. Brody wins with a body slam 17-11 as Kerry took a series of cuts to his forehead. The bout could have very easily had been stopped. Should have been stopped. Could have been stopped. You know what I'm trying to say. The Blackjacks retain over Scott Casey and Wahoo McDaniel. That bout went 30-41, and the action between the two teams ratcheted up to the point where they both abused the referee, so it was a double DQ. Each team will pick up 1 rankings point. Bringing us to this match, Jackie Capallo, over here on the left, who we know from Are You Being Served, against Danny Hodge, himself a former World's Junior Heavyweight Champion, has been a contender for the big title, the world title, as he faced Dory Funk Jr. at our last Supercard Grapple Fest 4 in Seattle, Washington. So now it's Pallo against Hodge, and the rumor has it that these two will meet in a rematch. We are not going to see a lot of world title defenses in week 26, as all the champions will be gearing up for title defenses on the Elite 8 Monarch of the Mat Supercard, where we'll have the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals, and we'll have 4 other matches, world title matches, so it should be fun. Big bout between whoever is the world champion after Dory Funk defends his title the last couple of times this week, and then he will be off next week, and he'll face Andre the Giant. Whoever the world champion will be will face Andre. So let's get this done. Actually, I need to redo it because I forgot to note the fact that Palo is the world champ. So, you know, as they say, stuff happens. He is defending the title, meaning he gets more provision to try to escape with the championship. Could use his belt as a weapon. He could flee the ring, and Hodge is going to have to catch him and catch him good to win the world title tonight here in the Texas circuit, the World Junior Heavyweight Championship. So this will go 60, a one-fall world title match, because this is for the World's Junior Heavyweight Championship, which in the days of the old NWA around the 60s and the 70s was almost just almost a big as a deal as the world title was. And if you really want to go back old school to the 40s and 50s, yes, it was a big deal, but unlike Mexican and European wrestling, North American wrestling really doesn't care too much about weight classes. So we'll set the trade-off moves here, and we'll get this match started. Palo should retain his title, and Hodge has 1 hour to chase it down. And off we go. Hodge comes in 6-3 and 7. Just took Dick Hutton to a time limit draw in a classic 45-minute bout in the Houston circuit before Houston and Dallas merged. And since winning the title over Hector Garza, Jackie Palo on our last Grand Slam Saturday defeated Hiro Matsuda by pinfall in Tampa. So let's get the bout started. Auto control loss. We go to Hodge with a legal throw, and that scores the first tally of the match. Hodge going for a front face lock. Almost gets the pin right away. He would have gotten a pinfall in the first 90 seconds of the bout. But Palo kicked out at 3. So Palo has to feel he's in some immediate trouble here as Hodge clamps an arm hold on him. Then goes for the headlock. Pinhold's countered, so it's back to Mr. TV. And Palo with a side roll can't even get a 1 count out of that. Palo, figure 4 head scissors countered. We go back to Hodge for a kick. Illegal turnbuckle move by Danny Hodge. Disqualified check. Possible DQ stopped. And a neck hold. Clamping down on that neck is Hodge, and that's 5 more points. So Hodge off to a good start. Zopor opened up a 37-point lead. Pinhold. No. Got a 1 count, couldn't get a 2. No action. Legal whip to the ropes. Could only get a 1 count there. Suplex attempt by Hodge, and it's a beauty. That scores 10 more points. Hodge has only given up 3 points in the match so far, and we're 6.5 minutes in. No action. Auto control loss. We go back to Hodge with a legal speed move. And Hodge wearing Palo down, and that is not a good sign for Jackie Palo. Punches by Hodge. Neck hold by Hodge. And Hodge now sending his man high up in the air for the snap suplex, and that's 10 more points off of Palo's total. Auto control loss, right back to Hodge, but his legal throw was countered. A kick by Palo, only the second move. Palo has gotten in on Hodge in 8:52 of action. Disqualified check. Palo using punches, and he gets those moves in. That's 5 more points. More illegal punching. He's messing with the wrong guy because Danny Hodge had several professional fights in his career. Hodge will probably pay that receipt back in kind. Illegal knee by Palo. No pin. Auto control loss. We go to Hodge. DQ stopped. And Hodge using punches. Yes, Hodge using those punches. He was an Olympic wrestler, but he was no stranger to pro boxing. And that's 6 points off of Palo's total. And the lead now is at 69 points. Turnbuckle move by Hodge. An arm hold by Hodge. A supple attempt. Kaboom! And that's 10 points. 10 points of damage. Submission move, but it's not going to score. We'll run it anyway, which we probably shouldn't have done. No action, and it goes to Palo for a legal throw. Palo is not really scoring with these moves at all. That's only 4 more points off of Hodge's total. Hodge is still in tremendous shape as this match has continued on now almost to the 15-minute mark. A headlock by Palo, but he's, like I said, he's not scoring too much. Throat chop by Palo. Well, that'll get his attention. That's 6 more points off. And some more choking. Palo's going to try to retain the title one way or another. But like I said, if Hodge wins the title tonight, there will likely be a rematch in St. Louis. We go to the next hold, a kick by Palo. Maybe he's been taking lessons from Kendo Nagasaki, who was also not the Kendo Nagasaki of Florida, but the Kendo Nagasaki of England, not Kaz Sakurada, who was well known in the Florida circuit. And Hodge is cut. Now this could be an equalizer. Hodge cut a cut inside the nose, and that's a 34-point damage drop and 19 on cuts. But Palo's pinhold countered. Will go to a body scissors, but we're not going to try for the submission there. Not likely to score. Auto control loss back to Palo, who loses control. Back to Hodge. Another pinhold body press. No pin. We're 17-20 into the bout, and now the lead down to 41. Pinhold countered. We go to Palo with a forearm, and ever since that cut, it seems like Palo is more and more in charge. No action. Back to Hodge. No, it stays with Palo. Illegal punches. Now Hodge gets off a throw. Side headlock takedown. That is 6 points off of Palo's total. Illegal punches by Hodge. Like I said, it was Palo who started with the punching, and you're messing with the wrong guy when you mess with Hodge. With that tendon strength of his. No action. Submission move by Palo countered. Back to Hodge, which was a disqualified check, and he uses arm hold. Punching away on Palo is Hodge, and he gets a 10 on the 3 count. He needed a 3, 2, or 1. Chop by Hodge. Hodge now seeming to get his second win. Arm hold. And arm hold applied. We're now past almost at the 21-minute mark, and the lead has opened up to 70 points. Supple attempt countered. Here comes Palo. Illegal punches. That's countered. Arm holds again used by Hodge, slowing the match down. And when you're a challenger, that's really not a good thing to do. 6 more points off of Palo's total, though. Hodge grabs Palo and slams him into the canvas. Palo showing some serious fatigue problems. So this is a 40-45 pin attempt. 1 in 8 chance. Almost got it. Almost had a new world junior heavyweight champion right there. The 3 count wasn't 8. He needed it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Kick by Hodge. And Palo in a lot of trouble here, perhaps, even though Hodge has that cut on his nose. Legal knee by Hodge. Auto control loss goes back to Hodge. And a pile driver, again, a 1 in 8 chance. But Palo finds the ropes. 23-38 into the bout. Auto control loss. No action from Hodge. Arm hold by Palo. Submission move, and it's a claw-like hold, but it's nowhere near getting Hodge's attention. Illegal punches by Palo. Choking by Palo, which is always illegal, no pin. Never saw a legal choke. Well, there is such a thing as a legal choke. There's that rear naked choke that somebody could use. A headlock applied by Palo. And Palo goes to apply a specialty move, and while he does so, clips the referee, and Palo catches the luckiest break of lucky breaks. He will get out of Texas with the championship around his waist still. What a lucky break Palo caught. As it appeared, Hodge had him in trouble. So it's going to be Hodge who won't pick up any points by winning by DQ because he was 29 points ahead of his opponent, and you only get 2 points for a DQ, and the 29 points advantage wipes those 2 points out. So Paolo, as lucky as one man can be, he wins in 20. He's going to survive with the title. Paolo is going to retain it, and these two are going to meet again. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a special stip on this match at Monarch of the Mat Elite 8, where it's no disqualification. Because if this was no DQ, I think Hodge would have took him. So Paolo bumped the ref. And let me see here. 200 off of Paolo's total of damage. 118 with a 19 cut for Hodge. The match went 3.5 stars, which wasn't too bad. But in the final analysis, Jackie Paolo is heading to St. Louis, in all likelihood, as the World Junior Heavyweight Champion. And now we take you to LA. Dory Funk Jr. has another world title defense for you all. Stand by. Well, this ought to be a doozy. Hello, everybody. Welcome to bout number 3 here on Grand Slam Saturday. One more bout to go after this. And don't forget, at 8 o'clock this Saturday night to come, which will be the 26th of June, 2021. So if you see this some point after June 26th, well, I've already done this. We're going to have the second round of the Monarch of the Mat. But right now, we have a world title defense for Dory Funk Jr. His schedule has intensified as of late. Superstar Graham gets the challenge in a battle of heels because Graham defeated Funk in the Houston Monarch of the Mat qualifier that took place a few weeks back. So now the Superstar is going to get a heel match with the champ, and we wonder who the crowd will be rooting for as this match develops. We've had some very interesting bouts, and we have had our first title change of the week in the not in the Los Angeles circuit. So if you would stand by for just a moment as I set things up. And there we go. I will show you what has been happening. In the Los Angeles circuit, we began with a no DQ match. Jackie Fargo against El Signo. Signo wins by pin, 17 minutes in with a big boot. Magnificent Morocco makes his LA debut. He loses by DQ to Hector Guerrero. The match went 20-29. Put a couple of baby faces together in bout number 3. Shinya Hashimoto from Japan against Blue Demon from Mexico. It goes to a 30-minute draw. They'll each pick up 2 rankings points. Black Japan, the team of Masachono and the Great Muda, loses to Gordman and Goliath, who are mainstays in Los Angeles in real life. Gordman and Goliath win by pin 10-23. Ted DiBiase purchased the contract of Gorgeous George. In all point of truth, Gorgeous George is now in the indie pool. He and Hector Garza had a bout. DiBiase won by pin 17-32. In the co-main, we had a title change. Cowboy Bill Watts is the brand new North American champion. He defeats Jack Sherry with a bulldog in 21-41. Couple of baby faces going at it, but Sherry was a little bit more like a tweener with him being the champ, and crowd really taking a shine to Watts in Los Angeles, so he'll go on the road and defend the North American title. And he's a guy who could play babyface and heel, and he could defend the title against anybody. Dory Funk Jr. and Superstar Graham, that is our bout that is to come here on this bout number 3 of Grand Slam Saturday. It is for the world title. And we have ropes moves on each side, so we leave that alone. And I did not set up the match correctly. Let me go back and do it for you, right in front of your very eyes. I did not designate Dory as the champion. It's a world title bout, and we'll reset everything here, so my apologies for that. why I don't do tournaments. I'm afraid I would mess something up when I let there is a tournament mode in Wrestling's Finest version 3, but I'm afraid I would mess it up. I kind of know my limitations. So now we have everybody designated correctly, and as I was saying earlier, you don't really have to trade holds here because they both have ropes maneuvers, and when they do, I cancel them out. Coming into tonight, Funk is 11-2-6 as world champion, 11 wins, 6 losses, 2 losses, 6 ties. Both were by technicalities, as was the case with superstar Billy Graham in Houston. Graham is 4-4, so you'd think this would be an easy title defense for the Funker. We will see here as this match goes on. Computer likes Funk, and Superstar now with a golden opportunity to capture a world title as he did in the WWF, but this is more like an undisputed world championship, how GSW tends to do it. So let's get this bout underway. A leg hold by Graham to start the match, and that's 5 points off the champion's total. It's going to be very tough to get the champ pinned, although Lou Thez nearly had him submitting in their bout in Carbondale, Illinois last week. It went to a time limit drawing, nearly had him at the 61-minute mark. They will meet again, provided Funk retains the title tonight. Otherwise, it'll be Graham against Thez. And we have a cut. And this is a great break for the Superstar. Ally, who just came to ringside, attacks Dory Funk. I would say that is a masked man. We'll just call it a mysterious masked man. I don't think Thez would do anything that devious. And it's a massive cut, and Graham has now opened up a big lead here in the first minute and a half of the bout. A kick countered by Graham. Graham's got to go for something big here. He does. And Graham wins by count out again. Graham is going to win by count out again. This is almost a carbon copy of what happened in Houston a few weeks back. So Graham, somewhere along the line, will get another title shot. And that's going to give him, let me see, he gets 2 points for the count out win. He was 35 points lower than Funk. It's going to be 5 points for the Superstar, and Dory is going to lose 5. And Dory had a massive cut, so he was probably looking for an excuse to quickly terminate the bout. In fact, it went by so fast I never even got to the close-up mode of showing you this game board here in the upper left of your screen, and I apologize for that. So Funk keeps his title. He gets Lou Thez in a few days in Kansas City, Missouri, as we play out the second round of the Monarch of the Mat tournament. And now we head to Portland, Oregon. And welcome to our last match this week on Grand Slam Saturday. Do not forget, right after this airs for the first time at 7 o'clock, well, it's probably past 7 o'clock by now if you're seeing this, we will have the second round of the Monarch of the Mats. Every match, including the main event, which is going to be Dory Funk Jr. against Lou Thez at 8 p.m., so that's 8 Eastern Time. So if you're watching this and it's between 7 and 8 on Saturday night, the 26th of June, stick around because I got a little more for you. Right now, we got the World Tag Titles on the line, and next week we're going to have matches of minor importance as the World Champs will all be on the Elite 8 card, which will be July 3rd at 8 o'clock. So this is the last title defense before the Super Card for Youngblood and Steamboat, who have now been World Tag Team Champions 20 weeks. And no, they are not facing Superstar Graham. I messed that up. So if you will just forgive me a moment, they are facing the Sheep Herders. Once again, I make an error. for all of you to see. So let me fix that real fast. Just when you think you got everything perfect, something something always comes up to mess it up. So we're going to put in, no, not AG, sheep herders. When you make a mistake, make it big. That's my motto. So if I do this, there, it's fixed. It's sheep herders against Youngblood and Steamboat. The sheep herders were the last team to occupy the world tag titles. And now they get another shot at gaining them back against Jay Youngblood and Ricky Steamboat, who I was saying was champions now, been champions now 20 weeks. So we'll take a look. You're looking at my schedule. Now I could show you what happened in the Portland card. I made a clerical error. I had Barry Windham and Bam Bam Bigelow booked for this card, but I made some sort of mistake. And I made some sort of deletion where that match got wiped out. I have them for the next card out of Portland if they are both still there. Bill Goldberg over Scott Norton, low blow, and I forgot to put the time down. Boy, I am all thumbs right now. So let me fix that, and I'll give you the time. The time of that match went 10:18, 10:18, 10:18. And I'm going to put that in right in front of you. Low blow. Okay. Blackjack Mulligan over Fishman, 8:22 with a claw hold. Roddy Piper and Stan Hansen. Hansen came in the honorary custody normally is. Hansen was throwing chairs around, so Piper picked up a chair, smashed him with it, and won in record time. Well, you can't do any better than winning with no time off. I'm sure Hansen will appeal that the bell never rang, but the pinfall was scored. Hell's Angels had a little trouble with the Southern Rockers this time. They won in 16:08. Knee drop to the top to the throat. Paul Dupree over Steve Dahl. And Tenito Raka, 18:23 over Toshiaki Kawada. Kawada had a good little reputation built for himself in Portland, but Raka made mincemeat out of him. Big Van Vader, Dick Davis court. It was Vader by DQ on a low blow, 11:35. And that brings us to our main event for the Portland circuit and our go-home match here on This Week in... Oh, I messed it up. I am messing up left and right here today. Oh, boy. But it makes for good copy that I'm a little bit aloof sometimes. World title match, and we go 60 minutes, and they're facing the New Zealand Sheepherders. And we go okay. We have trade-off holds for the Sheepherders, but none for the Youngblood and Steamboat pairing. So I hope you're ready to start this bout, because I am. Youngblood and Steamboat should retain their titles. If the Sheepherders should win, they will face the Von Brauners on the St. Louis Supercard at the Checker Dome in St. Louis, and we are underway. Slam and a body press. They went for the gusto right away, went for their finishing hold, but of course the Sheepherders were born at night, but they weren't born last night. They counter. Illegal choking by the Sheepherders. Now some more illegal choking, because there is no such thing as legal choking. No pin. Auto control loss. We go back to Youngblood and Steamboat. A legal whip to the ropes. That's 6 more points off. Auto control loss. No action as we go back to the challengers. Challengers, by the way, the Sheepherders 2, 3, and 2. And their last battle was against Youngblood and Steamboat, and they lost by DQ. The champions, Youngblood and Steamboat, 11, 5, and 3. This is their 20th bout of the year already, because most of the time they have been champions. World Tag Team Champions. Legal chop by Youngblood and Steamboat. Double teams. They go for that slam body press again. This time they hit it, but with a little help from a partner. I think it was Butch Miller, who was being pinned. Luke Williams came over and said, you ain't getting us that early, mate. And we continue on. The champions with a legal whip to the ropes. Auto control loss. illegal biting, as I often say, as opposed to legal biting or legal choking. Leg drop. That does not get the pin. Had high odds on getting the pin. Flying body press. That was by Steamboat, but again, chicanery by the sheepherders keeps the bout alive. We are 5:28 in, and the champions, for a change, because usually they do not get off to it. They are slow starters. They don't usually get off to a good start. Kind of like a boxer will sometimes be known as being a slow starter, won't do good for about 4, 5, 6 rounds, and then comes alive in the latter part of the fight. A double team attempt by the challengers. A disqualified check was stopped. Legal biting countered. Body slam by the champs. Double teaming by the champs. Scoring big. Steamboat goes for that flying body press again, but it doesn't score. Countered. Low blow by the sheepherders. Ouch! So the women of Portland will probably not be seeing the World Tag Team Champions at a bar anytime soon. Low blow and so double teaming countered by the challengers. And submission move that will not be further enhanced because the challengers want to keep control. Legal nerve hold. And auto control loss. We go back to the champs. Legal whip to the ropes. Double teaming by the champs. More double teaming by the champs. They're working in and out. And submission, so we ignore that because it wasn't going to score. The needed fall. Pinhold countered. Double team attempt countered. Legal throw. No pin. Legal speed move. No pin. So far we have had 4 pin attempts by the champs, 1 by the challengers. Auto control loss, disqualified check. And the sheeps do not take the bait. They do not get the DQ. They use punches instead. And barrage of punches outside the ring. Sheepherders pick up 15 points of damage onto the challengers, but they are still way behind if you were scoring this on points. And it's probably a good thing a wrestling match is not scored by points. Auto control loss. We go back to the champs. There's that slam body press connection, and whoo, it hits. And they retain the titles. It's a double DQ. It's a double DQ. Trying to think who might it have been. I think it was the Minnesota Wrecking Crew that came over from St. Louis causing trouble. But the challengers are not going to be successful getting the titles today. They will pick up for their trouble 2 points. 2 points for the double DQ. Otherwise it would have been 1 each way. 1 each way. So 12:38. No, I'm sorry, folks. How could I miss this? It was not the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. It was the Von Brauners making a. You'd think two guys with hair and 2 guys with bald pates. It would be easy for me to pick this up, but then again, I need glasses too. So the Von Brauners run in. And cause a little havoc, and that causes a little more interest in the card from St. Louis that will be taking place in a little over a week's time. It was 67 to 186, and the match got a star rating of 3 stars. So the champs retain their championship, and that's going to do it for this episode of Grand Slam Saturday. This has been Big Paulie coming to you, wishing you well. Stick around if you're watching this between 7 and 8 on Saturday, June 26th, as we're going to be doing the second round card of the Monarch of the Mat from Kansas City, Missouri. Big card. We'll set the pairings for the Monarch of the Mat Elite 8, and we'll have that for you on our next episode of Grand Slam Saturday on July 3rd at 7, and then at 8 we will have Monarch of the Mat, the Elite 8, the Super Card. Looking forward to doing it. This is Big Paulie coming to you, wishing you well, Godspeed and God bless. We will do it all again soon, and bye bye for now, everybody.